What's going on, everybody out there watching this? This is the Year in Wrestling 2006, Part 3. This will be my final video on the year 2006. I'll be talking about WWE and TNA only. And Ring of Honor did hold, I think, a pay-per-view or a big event in October 2006. It's called Survival of the Fittest. From Cleveland, Ohio. A lot of talent was on it. The Briscoes defeated Roderick Strong and Homicide. Bryan Danielson and Samoa Joe ended in a 20-minute time limit draw. We had a lot of matches. Claudio cast, I forget how you say his name, but Claudio. Everybody knows him now. He's Cesaro. In Ring of Honor, he was Claudio Castaneves or something like that. Chris Hero was on the show teaming up with Claudio. They were the kings of wrestling. And they defeated Colt Cabana and Jimmy Jacobs. So, Ring of Honor had a big show in October 06. I'm not sure if it was on pay-per-view. I think it was. But I ended my video, Part 2 of the Year in Wrestling 2006. I ended it talking about WWE ECW's One Night Stand 06. I'm not going to go back and talk about WWE's ECW brand because that'll just get me angry and that will get me on a rant that I don't want to do anymore because it'll take too long. So I'm going to start this part 3 of the Year in Wrestling 06. This is my last video on 2006. It might go an hour. I'm not sure. Because I got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of pay-per-views from TNA and WWE still. But I ended with ECW One Night Stand, so I'll start with WWE Vengeance now. Just want to make sure this is recording. WWE Vengeance took place in June, same month as ECW One Night Stand. That's a bad idea to run 2 pay-per-views in 1 month. Never a good idea to do that. Anyways, Vengeance was a Raw only pay-per-view event because back then we had the Raw and SmackDown separate brands, and they had their separate pay-per-views, even though they were all under the WWE and run by Vince. So, up first, we had Val Venis defeat Rob Conway. Pretty boring. Randy Orton defeated Kurt Angle. I'm sure it was a decent match, but I don't remember much of it. Umaga defeated Eugene and probably destroyed him, as he should, because Eugene's character wasn't that good. Ric Flair defeated Mick Foley in a 2 out of 3 falls match. This was pretty decent. It was pretty good. Johnny Nitro defeated Benjamin and Carlito in a triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship. So Johnny Nitro becomes the Intercontinental Champion. Raw WWE Champion Rob Van Dam defeated Edge. And then the next night on Monday Night Raw, Rob Van Dam had to drop the WWE Championship because he was busted and pulled over by the police with Sabu in the car. So Rob Van Dam was basically punished because he was busted and pulled over. So he had to drop the title to Edge on a Raw after Vengeance. Imposter Kane, which I believe was Luke Gallows. I think it was Luke Gallows was a fake Kane, took on the real Kane, and the imposter Kane defeated the real Kane. John Cena defeated Sabu in a lumberjack match. I guess this was WWE wanting to get Sabu and ECW on the Vengeance pay-per-view, so they had ECW versus WWE, or ECW versus Raw. John Cena defeated Sabu. It was a pretty decent lumberjack match. Sabu was always a pretty damn good worker and didn't get enough credit for what he could do in the ring and wrestle. I mean, Sabu could do way more than just diving off top ropes through tables. he was a pretty damn good worker. But everybody remembers Sabu probably for the barbed wire matches and the violence and the chair throwing and the breaking tables and the extreme hardcore wrestling. The main event was D-Generation X reuniting at Vengeance '06. They came back together. DX, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. There was no China. You really only needed Triple H and Shawn Michaels because they were the main players of DX. You didn't need anybody else. You didn't need managers or bodyguards with them. DX defeated the Spirit Squad. I believe it was a handicap match. So the Spirit Squad basically got buried, even though they weren't a good faction, in my opinion. They were pretty lame. Great American Bash now, which was a SmackDown pay-per-view that took place in July '06. Funaki defeated Simon Dean. That match should have not been on pay-per-view and shouldn't have been on the pay-per-view. That match, Simon Dean versus Funaki, that should have been left on SmackDown. SmackDown World Tag Team Champions. Got an itch here. SmackDown Tag Champions Brian Kendrick and Paul London defeated Kid Cash and Jamie Noble in a pretty good tag match to retain the tag titles. U.S. Champion Finlay defeated William Regal in a pretty good match. I think it was pretty good. I don't really remember it. But with Finlay and Regal going one-on-one, I'm sure it had to be good. Cruiserweight Champion Gregory Helms defeated Matt Hardy. Ashley Mazzaro defeated Jillian Hall and Crystal Marshall and Candice Michelle. So it was a fatal four-way. In a bra and panties match, fatal four-way. The Undertaker defeated The Big Show in a Punjabi prison match. Now, I don't know why they put Big Show and Undertaker in the Punjabi prison, because Great Khali was supposed to face The Undertaker in the Punjabi prison, but Great Khali, for some reason, did not show up and was not on the Great American Bash. I don't know why. Maybe he was injured. I don't know. So Big Show replaced the Great Khali, and The Undertaker still defeated him in the Punjabi prison match. It was just a stupid gimmick match because the Punjabi prison had looked like all these Singapore canes that were built stacked up on top of each other, built like a cage, like an old school cage with the squares in it. It was just a stupid idea because it was two cages. They had one cage, one prison, Punjabi prison over the ring, down to the ring apron. That was stupid. And that got in the way of the action to see it. And then on the outside of the ring, they had the floor where they could fight. And then they had another cage outside of the ring, like where the Hell in a Cell goes. So that was stupid, and I felt bad for the fans because they had to look through that fucking Punjabi prison. They had to try to look through it to see the match, and I'm sure it was annoying. At least watching it, it wasn't that bad watching it because they had the camera right into the ring, like through one of the holes in the cage, had the camera right in there, and they did get good camera work, but still it was pretty annoying watching the Punjabi prison match. And it was a stupid idea, whoever came up with it. Probably Michael Hayes. Up next, Ken Kennedy, who was pretty damn over when he was Ken Kennedy and was getting a pretty good push before 2007, before he won Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 23. Ken Kennedy was getting a pretty decent push on SmackDown. Ken Kennedy defeated Batista by DQ. I believe this is when I think Batista or Kennedy bled a lot during this match. Anyways, Ken Kennedy wins by DQ, defeating top SmackDown superstar Batista. Main event was King Booker defeating Rey Mysterio Jr. for the SmackDown World Heavyweight Championship. So King Booker became the new World Heavyweight Champion. Now I'm going to talk about TNA's August 2006 pay-per-view. I don't know why I'm holding this paper in my hand. It's called Hard Justice. A lot of matches on here are not worth mentioning, so I'm not going to mention them all. Abyss defeated Brother Runt. Brother Runt was Spike Dudley, if you didn't know, and I'm sure it was a hardcore match. And I'm sure somebody bled. Samoa Joe defeated Monty Brown and Rhino in a 3 triple threat Falls Count Anywhere match. Gail Kim defeated some other woman that looked like that had the build of a man. I don't even know her name, and I don't even care what her name was. Gail Kim defeated her at Hard Justice 06. X Division champion Low-Key, but I don't think he was called Low-Key at the time, but I'm going to just call him Low-Key because that's who he was. Defeated Petey Williams and Jay Lethal in a triple threat to retain the X Division title. NWA World Tag Team Champions AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels, a great tag team in TNA at the time. They were the World Tag Team Champions. They defeated LAX in a pretty damn good tag match. NWA World Champion Jeff Jarrett defeated Sting to retain the world title. But in October, Jeff Jarrett would finally job and lose the title to Sting. So that was Hard Justice 06. I'm sure it was a decent pay-per-view. I do not think I ever saw it. Or maybe I did. I don't remember. Now I'm going to talk about TNA's No Surrender, which took place in September of 06. Jay Lethal defeated Petey Williams. Abyss defeated Raven and Brother Runt in a no DQ triple threat match. The Naturals won a battle royal. X Division champion Low-Key defeated Chris Sabin. They always had good matches with each other. Christian Cage defeated Rhino. They had a feud going on that would go into Bound for Glory 06. AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels again defeated LAX, but this time it was in an Ultimate X match. And Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles won the NWA Tag Team titles back in the Ultimate X. Samoa Joe in the main event defeated Jeff Jarrett in a fans' revenge lumberjack match. I believe they had fans around the ring that had whips or leather belts, and they would whip Jeff Jarrett when he would go to the outside. So that was No Surrender. Not that many matches on No Surrender, but whatever. Now I'm going to go back to WWE and talk about WWE SummerSlam 2006, which didn't have that many matches on it also. Carlito defeated Rob Conway. I don't remember that match, and I don't know why it was on a SummerSlam pay-per-view. Didn't deserve to be. Chavo Guerrero defeated Rey Mysterio. ECW World Champion after Rob Van Dam had to drop the WWE Championship to Edge on a Raw. He also had to drop the ECW Championship, and I'm sure this was Vince's idea. I do not think this was Paul Heyman's idea. They thought, hell, let's have Big Show win the ECW World Championship because every old ECW fan would like to see the Big Show as the ECW fucking World Heavyweight Champion, and as the face of the ECW brand. Nobody wanted to see the Big Show as the face of the new ECW. That was just god-awful, and that was garbage. That was stupid as hell. To give the Big Show the ECW World title, and it was just stupid. And then Paul Heyman turned heel on Rob Van Dam, and Paul Heyman ended up joining the Big Show and celebrating with him when he won the championship. I believe he won it in Philadelphia, the home of the original ECW. Big Show won it in Philly, and the crowd was so angry at the end of ECW on Sci-Fi, they started throwing garbage in the ring at Big Show, and bottles, and water at him, and soda and beer at him. They hated it that the Big Show won the ECW championship in Philly. It was a disgrace, in my opinion, to give the Big Show the ECW championship, and to have the Big Show, who was super out of shape at the time and looked like shit. He looked like a pile of fucking dog shit. it was just one of the dumbest decisions ever to give the Big Show the ECW championship and have him be the face of the new ECW. It was a pile of dog shit, and it stunk, and it was awful. And as I said, the Big Show, go back and watch him, even at SummerSlam 06, he's really out of shape, and he looks like a pile of dog shit. And today he doesn't look much better, really, except that he's bald. And he looks better bald because he's losing his hair anyway. So now, back to SummerSlam. Chavo Guerrero defeated Rey Mysterio. I'm sure they had a good match. ECW World Champion, The Big Show, defeated Sabu. This was a decent match for what it was. Sabu, in my opinion, carried it and made it better. He was up on the Big Show's shoulders. Big Show was holding him up, and Sabu ended up DDTing the Big Show through a table. That was a pretty good spot. A lot of tables were broken in this match, and some chairs were used, and the Big Show wins and retains the ECW Championship, probably because Vince wanted him to. But it was a fucking disgrace. Big Show as ECW World Champion was a disgrace. Hulk Hogan returned. He, out of nowhere, he just returned and did a small program with Randy Orton. He appeared on a Saturday night's main event. Randy Orton was making fun of Hogan and his family in the Hogan Knows Best show. Randy Orton was basically goofing on it on Raw and had some guy dressed up as Hogan and some girl that looked like Brooke Hogan come out on Raw, and then he made fun of them or something like that. And then Hogan appeared on a Saturday night's main event, cut a promo, and then he's taking Brooke back to the car to leave in the parking lot, and then Randy Orton ran up behind Hogan and RKO'd him on the back of the trunk of the car. And then Hogan was laid out. And then that set up their SummerSlam 2006 match. So Hulk Hogan appeared, and he looked kind of out of shape, but whatever. He didn't wrestle for a whole year, so what do you expect? Anyways, Hulk Hogan defeated Randy Orton. It was a pretty short match, and it wasn't very good. But I was still happy to see Hogan appear because I'm a fan of his. Ric Flair defeated, now this was pretty awesome at SummerSlam. This was one of the highlights of SummerSlam 06. Ric Flair defeated Mick Foley in an I Quit match. This got real bloody. Both guys bled a lot. Mick Foley got his shirt ripped, and I believe got his chest cut open because I think Ric Flair put barbed wire on his chest and ripped his chest open, so Mick Foley's bleeding all over his face. Blood was pouring down his face. Ric Flair, of course, had the blade because he loves doing it. He's done it so much in his career. So Ric Flair bled a lot, and Foley bled a lot. And then Melina jumped in the ring because storyline was, I guess, she was close with Mick Foley and was his friend. So Melina jumped in front of Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, and basically got on the microphone. And I believe Melina said to Ric Flair, he quits. And then the match ended, Ric Flair wins. The I Quit match. As I said, it got really hardcore and really bloody and pretty damn violent. There was barbed wire used. There were chairs used. It got extreme. Batista defeated SmackDown World Champion King Booker by DQ. Pretty stupid finish, but I understand why they did it, because they didn't want King Booker to lose a title that fast, because he just won it in July, and this was August. Triple H and Shawn Michaels, D-Generation X, defeated Vince and Shane McMahon. This was a pretty damn good tag match and pretty entertaining for what it was. Raw WWE Champion, not World Heavyweight. Raw WWE Champion Edge defeated John Cena. They had a good program going, and those two guys were pretty damn entertaining in their feud and rivalry. Now I'm going to talk about Unforgiven. which took place in September '06. Just looking at the time of this video. Intercontinental Champion Johnny Nitro defeated Jeff Hardy. And I always hated the name Johnny Nitro for some reason. I didn't like it. John Morrison, much better name for him. Even though John Morrison, I believe, is a dead rock star. Or was. Umaga defeated Kane Umaga and Kane ended in a double countout at Unforgiven 06, and is from Toronto. There's a lot of great wrestling fans in Toronto, Canada. Glad they got a pay-per-view in 06. The Spirit Squad defeated the Highlanders, which could have been on Raw and really shouldn't have been on pay-per-view. D-Generation X. This was pretty awesome. This was a highlight for Unforgiven 06, in my opinion. The McMahons in D-Generation X and the Big Show competed and stepped in the Hell in a Cell. DX took on the McMahons and the Big Show in a handicapped Hell in a Cell match. And DX defeated the McMahons in the Big Show. They pulled the Big Show's trunks down during this match, which I don't wish that on anybody, to see the Big Show's fat ass on camera, but we did. They pulled his pants down. I believe Shawn Michaels and Triple H, or one of them, did. And then Vince was knocked out cold. And then they stuck. I think this was after the match, because Vince was knocked out cold because Triple H knocked him out with a sledgehammer shot. And the sledgehammer, where he hit it, it broke in half. Like it broke over Vince's head. So Vince was knocked out cold. Then they stick Vince's bloody face and head in the Big Show's ass right in there. It was pretty gross. Looked like Vince was eating out the Big Show's ass. It was pretty disgusting. But whatever. I understand why they did it. To basically, because they were angry at Vince. And they wanted to get back at him. So that's why they stuck Vince's head in the Big Show's ass. And Vince couldn't get his head out of his own ass. Or sometimes he can't. Whatever. That's not... I meant Vince couldn't get his head out of Big Show's ass. And sometimes Vince can't get his own head out of his own ass. Sometimes. So, back to Unforgiven. This was also a highlight of Unforgiven. Trish Stratus in her final match, in her retirement match. She was retiring. And she discussed when she went in the Hall of Fame that she retired early because she wanted to take care of her mother, which was, her mother got sick, and I believe her mother got breast cancer, so that's why Trish retired, to take care of her mother. That's pretty cool that Trish did that, because she was pretty damn young to be retiring. At least young to retire in wrestling. So Trish defeated Lita for the Women's Championship in Trish's retirement match. It was pretty cool and it was pretty emotional. I got emotional because I was a big Trish fan. Randy Orton defeated Carlito, which didn't need to be on the pay-per-view. This was also a highlight of Unforgiven. It was a pretty good main event. John Cena defeated Edge for the WWE Championship in a TLC match. They always worked well together, did Edge and Cena, and the TLC match was pretty good. Now I'm going to go back to TNA and talk about Bound for Glory. Before I talk about Bound for Glory, and I just talked about Unforgiven, which was September, I didn't talk about ECW. And CM Punk made his ECW debut at ECW TV taping for ECW on Sci-Fi. They went to the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City in Manhattan. The fans were great. The entire show, there was like a lot of original ECW fans were there. It was in August of 06. I believe very early August. The tapings were before SummerSlam. anyways, it was live on Sci-Fi, ECW on Sci-Fi from the Hammerstein Ballroom. As I said, the fans were great. They were passionate. A lot of them were probably original ECW fans because they had a ton of passion and energy the entire 1 hour show. So CM Punk makes his WWE, I guess, main roster debut. He leaves OVW, where Paul Heyman was there booking and coming up with storylines for OVW TV. So Paul Heyman was on the main roster running ECW, I guess, but I don't think he really was running it long at all because Vince had to step in because of his ego. So Paul Heyman was already in ECW. I'm sure he discussed and wanted CM Punk to join the ECW brand and have CM Punk be the face of the new ECW. That would have been a good idea, but he didn't really become the face of the new ECW. You could say in 2007 he did because he won the championship and he had a great series of matches with John Morrison. So maybe CM Punk was a face of the new ECW for a little while, but not really for that long. Because the Big Show was still the champion when CM Punk made his debut. He made his debut in the Hammerstein Ballroom on ECW on Sci-Fi on a live Tuesday night edition of it. He debuted against Just Incredible and defeated him. CM Punk looked great against Just Incredible. He got a great reaction. Fans loved him. Fans knew who CM Punk was from his time in Ring of Honor and his time in the Indies. So the fans were smart enough. They knew who CM Punk was. They knew he was going to be a star. So they gave him a great pop and a great reaction. CM Punk, as I said, defeated Just Incredible. Other matches on that show from the Hammerstein Ballroom, we had Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman. Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman teamed up. They went up against Test, who was with Kelly Kelly at the time. I think they were dating in real life for a little while. So Test, rest in peace, Test. He's no longer with us. Test and who's that other guy's name? Mike, I think something Knox. Mike Knox or something. Whatever his name was, I don't care. His name was Knox. He was a jealous boyfriend of Kelly Kelly in the beginning of the ECW brand, which was a god-awful storyline, and I hated it because on the very first ECW, Kelly Kelly did a backstage interview segment and said, I'm here in ECW and I'm an exhibitionist, and she said next week I'm going to take off all my clothes. So that was, then that week after the first ECW, that was must-see TV. I wanted to see a chick take her clothes off because that's really all Kelly Kelly was good for, is taking her clothes off because she never became a good wrestler or worker. So Kelly Kelly says she's going to get naked and take her clothes off on the next ECW. This was before the Hammerstein Ballroom show, so Kelly Kelly comes out the next week on ECW and strips to, I think, a Pussycat Doll song. She starts stripping to it, taking her clothes off, almost taking her bra off. And then her stupid, jealous boyfriend, Mike Knox, I think that's his name, whatever his name was, he comes out, covers Kelly Kelly with a towel and takes her away and yells at her that you're not getting naked and you're coming with me, and he takes her away. So then, like, the next 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, Kelly Kelly strips again on ECW. And one time she even stripped and danced with Candice Michelle. Every time her stupid boyfriend Mike Knox comes and takes her away and covers her with a towel. And then finally, Kelly Kelly, at the end of, I think, end of 06, going into 2007, they had her break away from Mike Knox, and she was no longer with him, thank God. But anyways, Kelly Kelly was very young. She was a rookie. She was in the ECW brand. She was just signed by the WWE because she was a bikini model. And so Johnny Ace, John Laurinaitis, he signed her because he liked signing bikini models. That's really all he did in his time in the WWE. Anyways, Kelly, she was a rookie. She was really green. She didn't know much at all, but whatever. She was learning as she was going on TV every week. So Kelly and Test and Mike Knox were together against Dreamer and Sandman. It got hardcore. There was a board of barbed wire set up in the corner, and Mike Knox and Test threw Tommy Dreamer back first. They threw him really hard and really stiff into the barbed wire. That looked pretty brutal. And then Kelly got in the ring, and I think Test and Mike Knox were knocked out. So then Kelly was in the ring, and Dreamer brings her in the ring, spins her around, and then puts Kelly over his knee and starts spanking her ass. And she was almost wearing a thong, so you could see Kelly's entire ass. I believe she was 19 years old at the time, I think, or 20. So she was really young. And Kelly probably got played a lot backstage because she was so green. She probably got played by a lot of talent and a lot of guys. And I'm not going to say Kelly was a slut, but I have heard rumors that not only did she date Test and go with him and probably sleep with him, but Kelly also slept with CM Punk a few times. At least that's the rumors I've heard. And who knows, maybe Kelly has been with more guys that were part of the WWE at the time that I don't know about. I know she's with Punk, and I know she's with Test. Who else was she with? I don't know. So now, in the main event of that ECW on Sci-Fi from Hammerstein Ballroom, the main event was crap. It was Big Show as the ECW champion defending against WWE SmackDown's Batista. That made no sense because Batista wasn't an ECW talent. He wasn't even on the ECW brand. So Vince just brought in Batista because he thought Hammerstein Ballroom is not going to sell any tickets if I don't put a WWE star as a main event against the Big Show. It was stupid as hell. I hated it that the Big Show took on Batista in the main event of ECW on Sci-Fi from the Hammerstein Ballroom. That was a stupid ass decision. Now back to TNA's Bound for Glory that I was about to talk about. 32 minutes already. I'll be done soon. Bound for Glory 2006 took place in Detroit. Had a great crowd. The crowd was really into the entire show, and it was a hot crowd. Bobby Roode defeated Lance Hoyt, which it was what it was. I'm sure it was decent. I was never a fan of Lance Hoyt. I thought he sucked as a talent. Austin Starr, who I believe was Austin Aries, won the Kevin Nash Open Invitational, whatever that was. Team 3D defeated America's Most Wanted, the James Gang, and the Naturals in a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. Samoa Joe defeated Abyss and Brother Runt and Raven in a Monsters Ball match with Jake the Snake Roberts as a special guest referee. It was a good Monsters Ball. It was pretty entertaining. Eric Young defeated Larry Zbyszko in a loser gets fired match. So I guess Larry Zbyszko is fired. Chris Sabin defeated Low-Key for the X Division title. This was a pretty damn good X Division title match. I remember it. Christian Cage defeated Rhino in an 8-mile street fight. It was a damn good street fight, damn good match by two good workers in Christian Cage and Rhino. The LAX defeated AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels in the 6 Sides of Steel match to win the NWA Tag Team titles. Main event was Sting finally defeating Jeff Jarrett to win the NWA World title. Kurt Angle was a ringside enforcer. It was a great moment to see Sting win a world championship in another company. And it was great to see Sting win the NWA Championship and become NWA World Champion again. So Bound for Glory '06 was a pretty damn good Bound for Glory. If I'd give it a grade, I'd say it was a B+. Good pay-per-view. Now I'm going to talk about Genesis, which took place in November '06 from TNA. A lot of matches here aren't worth mentioning, but I'll talk about a few. X Division champion Christopher Daniels defeated Chris Sabin. So I guess Christopher Daniels won the X Division title after Bound for Glory on Impact Wrestling or something. That's not worth mentioning. Christian Cage defeated AJ Styles. They had a good match. NWA World Tag Team Champions LAX. Or LA, whatever. Yeah, LAX. I just was thinking why they call them LAX when they're called Latino American Exchange. But there is an X in exchange, so I guess that's why they called them LAX. They defeated America's Most Wanted. Abyss defeated Sting to win the NWA World title, which was pretty ridiculous. I mean, it was a good match. I enjoyed it. But Sting just won the title in October, and then TNA has him lose it in November. Stupid booking, stupid decision, but whatever, it happened. I had no issue with Abyss winning the title. I just thought, why did they just have Sting win it to just lose it in a month? It was pretty stupid. But the match, I think, was pretty good. Main event was Kurt Angle for the first time ever. This was billed as a match of the decade, I think. Kurt Angle defeated Samoa Joe. They had a very, very good wrestling match. 5-star match. It was pretty awesome. And Kurt Angle defeated Joe by submission. So that was Genesis. Might as well talk about TNA's turning point because it was the last pay-per-view of the year for them. Up first, or not first, but it's worth mentioning. Christopher Daniels defeated Chris Sabin again. That was not for any title. AJ Styles defeated Rhino. LAX defeated America's Most Wanted in a flag match. You had the Mexican flag against the United States of America, USA flag. NWA World Champion Abyss defeated Sting and Christian Cage in a triple threat match, which was pretty good. Samoa Joe defeated Kurt Angle again, but this time Kurt Angle put over Joe. Joe wins by submission at Turning Point in December '06. It was a good pay-per-view. If I grade it, I'd give it a C+. Now back to WWE No Mercy, which took place in October. It was a SmackDown pay-per-view. Jimmy Wang Yang, who was Jimmy Yang, but they put that stupid-ass cowboy gimmick on him, like he was an Asian cowboy. I never got that, and I thought it was stupid. Jimmy Wang Yang defeated Sylvain Grenier. He used to be part of La Resistance tag team. Matt Hardy defeated his friend Gregory Helms. They had a pretty good match. Brian Kendrick and Paul London defeated K.C. James and Idol Stevens. I don't remember them, but I do a little bit, but they weren't around long. K.C. James and Idol Stevens. I don't remember them much, but I know they were on SmackDown. Montel Vontavious Porter, MVP, defeated Marty Grenier, whoever the hell that is. So this was MVP's, I believe, pay-per-view debut. And he gets a win. Ken Kennedy defeated The Undertaker by DQ. As I said at the time, Ken Kennedy was getting a damn good push, because he's getting victories over The Undertaker. Rey Mysterio defeated Chavo Guerrero in a Falls Count Anywhere match, which was pretty good. Chris Benoit defeated William Regal. They had a good match, as they usually always did. King Booker defeated Finlay. They had a good match. This was a main event, I believe. But King Booker was the World Heavyweight Champion still, I think. King Booker defeated Finlay, Bobby Lashley, and Batista in a Fatal 4-Way. Now on to Cyber Sunday. WWE had way too many pay-per-views in 06, but whatever. They didn't even have a network in 06, and they were running too many pay-per-views. And now that they have the network, they still run a lot of pay-per-views. Sometimes 2 a month. And they hold special events, live specials, but I enjoy those live specials. Cyber Sunday 06, Umaga defeated Kane. Crime Time, who just made their debut in 06. Crime Time defeated Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch. The Highlanders, who I believe also made their debut in 06 on Raw. The Highlanders defeated Charlie Haas and Viscera. Or that was a Fatal 4-Way, where Crime Time defeated Lance Cade, Trevor Murdoch, the Highlanders, and Charlie Haas and Viscera in a Fatal 4-Way tag team match. Intercontinental Champion Jeff Hardy defeated Carlito. Randy Orton and Edge, they started teaming together, and then they called themselves Rated RKO. Randy Orton and Edge defeated D-Generation X, Shawn Michaels and Triple H, as they were feuding into Survivor Series. Lita defeated Mickie James in a Lumberjill match for the Women's Championship. Ric Flair and Roddy Piper defeated the Spirit Squad to win the Raw World Tag Team titles. That was pretty odd that they gave the tag titles to Ric Flair and Roddy Piper, but I was happy with it because I'm a fan of them. SmackDown World Heavyweight Champion King Booker defeated Raw WWE Champion John Cena and ECW Champion The Big Show in a 3-way match that was for the SmackDown World Heavyweight Championship. I believe this main event was called the Match of Champions or something like that, because Cena, Big Show, and King Booker all had world titles at the time. So that was Cyber Sunday. Decent pay-per-view. It was pretty good. Wasn't great though. Now on to Survivor Series 06, which was pretty good. The Survivor Series elimination match had the team of legends Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Ron Simmons, and Sergeant Slaughter defeat the Spirit Squad in an elimination match. U.S. Champion Chris Benoit defeated Chavo Guerrero Jr. Mickie James defeated Lita to win the women's title in Lita's retirement match for the WWE. And she was not really respected by the WWE or the company for the time that Lita gave to the WWE. She gave them her body. She broke her neck while she was under contract with WWE. She had to get neck surgery. She had to sit out for a whole year. And I think during 2002 into 03, where Lita came back in September 03. So she broke her neck during her WWE career, and the company really did not respect her at all on her way out and wanting to leave, and she's probably burnt out, wanting to leave and wanting to retire. But WWE didn't care. They didn't respect that because they had Crime Time come out with a cardboard box, and they started making fun of Lita, and they said, we took this box from Lita's dressing room and it has all her stuff in it, and we were going to sell it and give it away to the crowd and make some money off it. I believe in the box they pulled out a vibrator. That was pretty funny, and they claimed it's Lita's vibrator. Who wants to buy it? Who wants to buy it? I think somebody bought it for $1 or something like that. And then they're like, Crime Time started making jokes on the microphone. I mean, I'm sure they were told to say this. They weren't just saying it to be mean and to piss off Lita. I'm sure they were told to say it by the writers or by Vince or by someone. Anyways, Crime Time made a joke on the mic, something about, we got Lita's box. Her box is always for sale. Her box is always open. Talking about her box down there. They're saying it's always open for business. Some type of joke like that they made. That was kind of mean, but whatever. Anything went in 06 basically because it was MPG. So I wasn't offended by it, but it was pretty mean to say that about Lita. And they did disrespect her on her way out. So Mickie James becomes a new champion and Lita retires. And I don't think Lita has wrestled another match since 06. At least I don't remember her coming back and wrestling. She appeared, I believe, on Raw 1000, and I think she did a match or before Raw 1000 or during it and beat up Heath Slater and hit a moonsault on him and defeated him. Back to Survivor Series, not SummerSlam. Up next, we had another elimination match. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, DX, the Hardy Boys, and CM Punk teamed up and defeated the team of Rated RKO, Randy Orton and Edge. Gregory Helms, Mike Knox, and Johnny Nitro in an elimination Survivor Series 5-on-5 tag match. Ken Kennedy defeated The Undertaker in a first blood match. As I said, Ken Kennedy got a damn good push in 06, at the end of 06. He defeated The Undertaker in a first blood match on pay-per-view. John Cena, another elimination match. SmackDown now. John Cena, Kane, Bobby Lashley, Sabu, and Rob Van Dam defeated the team of The Big Show. And this was mixed between SmackDown brand guys and ECW brand guys. So, Team John Cena, Kane, Bobby Lashley, Sabu, and Rob Van Dam defeated Team Big Show, Finlay, MVP, Test, and Umaga. Main event was Batista defeating King Booker to win the World Heavyweight Championship back. I wasn't very happy about that. At the time, I was pretty bored with Batista becoming World Champion. Now on to the last pay-per-view of December for WWE. I believe they had Armageddon 06. I think they had Armageddon 06. But for some reason, I can't... It's not listed here in this book. So, whatever. I think Armageddon 06 had main event of John Cena and Batista, I think, against Finlay and King Booker. I could be wrong. I think Armageddon 06 also had MVP against Kane in a Inferno match, and also had a Fatal 4-Way ladder match for the SmackDown tag titles, where Joey Mercury got his face busted with the ladder and broke his nose, and blood started squirting out of his nose. I believe that was at Unforgiven 06. So that was a pretty entertaining Fatal 4-Way ladder match. Now on to the final pay-per-view, or one of the real close to the final pay-per-view, ECW's nightmare of a show that was ECW's December 2 Dismember. It was a fucking nightmare to watch. It was god awful. The booking was shit. How they just threw a whole bunch of matches on this show. They didn't advertise any of them. Nobody cared. The fans were angry that were at the show. The fans were pretty angry because they weren't getting the original ECW guys. And they weren't getting to see ECW type action. They just weren't getting to see it. Because WWE was having all the WWE guys that were on the show. They're basically going over and destroying all the ECW originals and just beating them. When the Sandman's music actually hit during December 2 Dismember, the crowd actually popped because they were angry and they were happy to see the Sandman. These two guys in the crowd, even when Sandman's music hit, they stood up and gave each other high fives because I'm sure they were happy that they were finally going to see a ECW original. Anyways, December 2 Dismember was a fucking mess. kicked off okay, but it was WWE, two WWE tag teams going at it. The Hardy Boys took on Eminem, and the Hardys defeated Eminem on an ECW pay-per-view. Daivari defeated Tommy Dreamer, and I got nothing against Daivari when he was in WWE, but he shouldn't have been defeating Tommy Dreamer. And then the Great Khali came out and picked up Tommy Dreamer and chokeslammed him on the steel stairs. That was pointless. And I think Khali in 07 would become part of the ECW brand or something. I don't remember. Kevin Thorne defeated Mike Knox. And Kevin Thorne was with Ariel. It was a mixed tag. Mike Knox was with Kelly Kelly, so it was a mixed tag match. And Kelly Kelly looked god-awful in the ring, like she didn't know what the fuck to do. Balls Mahoney defeated Matt Striker. Elijah Burke and Sylvester Turkai defeated the FBI. So I'm saying every WWE star that was on the ECW brand, they had them all go over all the old ECW originals. That pissed me off, because I don't think one ECW original got a victory on an ECW pay-per-view, which was pathetic and sad. Bobby Lashley defeated The Big Show, CM Punk, Hardcore Holly, Test, and Rob Van Dam in a Elimination Chamber match, and an Extreme Elimination Chamber match to win the ECW Championship. Well, nothing was extreme about it. Nothing was extreme about this Elimination Chamber match. It was just a regular chamber match, and it was pretty boring because all the talents in it did not really click at all. It was a mess. And Sabu was taken out for some reason. He was shown backstage, laid out, and I don't know why Vince or somebody, they didn't want Sabu in the Elimination Chamber match for some reason. I don't know why. So WWE replaced Sabu, I believe, with Hardcore Holly, which was stupid as hell. And Bobby Lashley wins the ECW World title. I didn't really care, but I was happy that the title was off The Big Show, because Lashley at least was a better champion than The Big Show and didn't look like a big fat pile of shit. So that was December to Dismember. The Sandman appeared, but he didn't wrestle. I believe he appeared and beat down Kevin Thorne with the Singapore cane and kept beating him with it, and then the crowd was getting angrier and angrier, and they were letting out their frustration when Sandman was beating Kevin Thorne or beating somebody with his cane. Fans started chanting. They started an ECW chant because they were pissed off, and they had a right to be pissed, because the December to Dismember is probably one of the worst WWE pay-per-views of all time. It's probably the worst. It's even worse than Tuesday in Texas. December to Dismember, in my opinion, is the number one worst, most boring, most just god-awful booking. The worst pay-per-view ever in WWE history is December to Dismember from 2006 in December. It was god-awful, and it was not anywhere near the original ECW. I don't know what it was. It was garbage. It was not the original ECW. When I ordered it, I did not order to see that crap. I wanted to see some hardcore wrestling and some more ECW originals on it. You could even put Justin Credible on the damn show. He was still a good worker at the time. You could have put... I don't know why they took Sabu out of the Elimination Chamber main event. That was a mistake. And a lot of... basically the entire December to Dismember show, except for the Hardys and Eminem, the entire show was a mistake, in my opinion. So this ends my Year in Wrestling 2006 series of videos. This was part 3. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you watched. If you didn't, you didn't. doesn't really matter to me. I'm doing these videos, these year in wrestling videos, I'm doing them because I enjoy talking wrestling. That's why I'm doing them. And hopefully I get 5 views, or hopefully I get 2 views, which I probably won't even get 3 views, but hopefully I get 2 or 3 views. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the year in wrestling 2006. I'm done talking about 2006. I'll probably start the year in wrestling 2007 videos in 1 or 2 days and put them up on my YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed it. This was the year in wrestling 2006 part 3. Have a happy new year and bye for now, everybody.